Let's get real for a moment, because life doesn't always go the way we plan. But here's the thing, you're not lost, you're being rerouted. God knows you need a new path. You might have big dreams, but God's dreams for you are bigger. Think about the times you were sure you had it all figured out, only for life to flip the script. That's not failure, it's faith in action. God sees the whole picture, and while you're focused on one puzzle piece, he's working on the masterpiece. When things don't go as planned, it can feel like you're being punished. But let me tell you, family, that's not punishment, it's preparation. God doesn't take things away to hurt you. He does it to make room for what's next. His plan for you is so big, it requires clearing out the old to make space for the new. Sometimes we mistake our desires for destiny. Just because you want it doesn't mean it's meant for you. Jodi's plan might look completely different, but it will always be better. Trust that he knows what you need, even when it's not what you wanted. Have you ever noticed that the things you once prayed for don't even matter to you now? That's because God's plan evolves as you do. What was good for you yesterday might not be good for you today. He's always moving you forward, even when it feels like you're standing still. We live in a world of instant gratification, but God doesn't work on our timetable. He's not interested in quick fixes. He's interested in eternal purpose. Sometimes he'll delay the blessing to ensure you're ready to receive it. That's not withholding, that's wisdom. When you feel lost or confused, remember that God is never lost or confused. He knows exactly where you're supposed to be, even when you don't. Trust that his GPS is always recalibrating to get you to your destination. And let me remind you, God's plan doesn't mind your past. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you've made. He specializes in turning messes into miracles. Your new path is waiting. It's up to you to step into it. You've been walking a path for so long that it feels like the only way. But what if I told you that path has served its purpose? What if I told you it's time to take a new road? God knows when it's time for you to elevate. And that often means leaving the old path behind. The problem with staying on an old path is that it limits your growth. You can't reach new heights while carrying the weight of the past. God sees where you need to go, and he knows the old way won't take you there. Time to let go. We get so comfortable with what's familiar that we're afraid to embrace change. But family comfort zones are dangerous. They keep you stagnant. God didn't create you to settle. He created you to soar. That means stepping out in faith and trusting the new path he's putting in front of you. Sometimes the old path feels safe because it's predictable. You know every twist and turn. But safety isn't always success. God isn't interested in keeping you comfortable. He's interested in your growth. Growth requires risk, and risk requires faith. You might be afraid to leave the old path because you're worried about failure. But let me tell you something, failure isn't final. It's a stepping stone to success. God uses every misstep to guide you closer to your destiny. Don't let fear hold you back from the new path he's calling you to. The old path might have been right for a season, but seasons change. Just like trees shed their leaves, you have to let go of what no longer serves you. God is pruning you so you can bear more fruit. Trust the process, even when it's uncomfortable. And here's the truth. The old path might feel like home, but it's not your final destination. God has more for you, but you have to be willing to leave the familiar to embrace the extraordinary. The new path is waiting. Are you ready to take it? Comfort zones feel good, don't they? It's where everything is predictable, and you know what to expect. But let me tell you something real, nothing grows there. Comfort zones are like cages. They might feel safe, but they trap you in mediocrity. God doesn't want you stuck. He wants you thriving. When you stay in your comfort zone, you miss out on opportunities to grow. Growth only happens when you're stretched beyond what you think you can handle. That discomfort you feel. That's God pushing you toward greatness. He knows you're capable of so much more, even if you can't see it yet. The thing about comfort zones is that they lie to you. They tell you this is enough. Don't risk it. Don't step out. But family, that's fear talking, not faith. God never intended for you to settle for just enough. He's a God of abundance, and abundance lives outside your comfort zone. Sometimes staying in your comfort zone isn't just about fear, it's about control. You want to control every outcome, every step, every detail. But let me remind you, God is in control, not you. And when he says it's time to move, you've got to let go of your grip on the old and step into the unknown. The truth is, your comfort zone might feel familiar, but it's also limiting. You weren't created to live a small, safe life. God designed you for impact, for influence, for greatness. But that means you've got to take risks, make bold moves, and trust that he's guiding your steps. Every time you choose to stay comfortable, you're saying no to the life God has planned for you. That life isn't found in what's easy, it's found in what's challenging. It's in the stretch, in the risk, in the leap of faith. Stop settling for less than what you were made for. God didn't bring you this far to leave you here. He's calling you out of your comfort zone because he has something better for you. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. Trust him and take that step. It's hard to wait, isn't it? Especially when you've been praying, hoping, and working towards something for what feels like forever. But let me tell you something, family. God's delays are not his denials. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. When God delays something, it's not to punish you, it's to prepare you. Sometimes the thing you're asking for isn't ready yet. Or maybe you're not ready for it. God's timing is perfect, and he knows exactly when to bring the blessing into your life. We often confuse waiting with wasting time, but waiting is never wasted when you're trusting God. In those seasons of delay, he's teaching you patience, resilience, and faith. He's building your character so that when the blessing comes, you'll be able to handle it. Think about it. What happens when you rush a cake in the oven? It comes out half-baked. That's what happens when we try to rush God's plan. He's working behind the scenes, making sure everything is just right. Don't settle for a half-baked blessing. Wait for God's best. Delays can be frustrating, but they're also opportunities. They're a chance for you to reflect, to grow, and to prepare for what's coming. God doesn't waste time, and he doesn't waste experiences. Every delay is part of his divine plan for your life. Sometimes the delay is about protection. You might be asking for something that isn't good for you right now. God sees what you can't see, and he's holding back what would hurt you. Trust that his not yet is better than your right now. Waiting on God requires faith, and faith isn't about seeing, it's about trusting. It's about believing that he's working all things together for your good, even when it doesn't make sense. So if you're in a season of waiting, hold on. God's timing is always worth the wait. We've all been there trying to make something work that clearly isn't meant to be. Whether it's a relationship, a job, or a dream that's not aligning, we push, we pull, we force. But family, what's meant for you will flow. God doesn't deal in chaos, he deals in clarity. When you force something, it's like swimming upstream. It's exhausting, it's frustrating, it's not sustainable. God didn't design life to be a constant struggle. Yes, there will be challenges, but the right path will come with peace, not perpetual strife. Forcing something that isn't meant for you is a form of resistance. It's you saying, I know better than God. But let me tell you, family, that's a losing battle. God's wisdom surpasses ours. When he closes a door, it's because that door isn't leading you to your destiny. Sometimes we force things out of fear. We're afraid to let go because we think there's nothing better. But God's resources are limitless. Just because one thing didn't work out doesn't mean nothing will. Trust that he has something greater waiting for you. Letting go isn't giving up, it's making space. When you release what's not meant for you, you create room for what is. God can't give you his best if your hands are full of what's not working. Surrender isn't weakness, it's wisdom. The longer you force something, the more energy you waste. That energy could be spent on pursuing the path God has actually laid out for you. Stop draining yourself on what's not for you. Redirect that energy toward what's aligned with his plan. God knows what's meant for you, and he knows what's not. Trust him enough to let go of the wrong things so you can receive the right ones. When you stop forcing, you start flowing. That's when you'll see his blessings unfold. Let's be honest, losing people hurts. Whether it's a breakup, a fallout with a friend, or someone drifting away, it leaves a void. But let me tell you something, when God removes people from your life, it's not rejection, it's redirection. He sees what you can't see, and he knows who's meant to stay and who's meant to go. Sometimes the people you're holding on to are the very ones holding you back. God knows their true intentions, their hidden motives, and their capacity to grow with you. If someone can't go where he's taking you, he will remove them, no matter how much it hurts. We often cling to people out of loyalty, history, or comfort, but loyalty to the wrong people can destroy your destiny. God didn't create you to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's limited vision. When he removes someone, it's because he's making room for better connections. There are times when you feel betrayed or abandoned, and it's easy to blame yourself. But hear me out, not everyone who leaves you is a loss. Some people's departure is your deliverance. God is protecting you from situations and relationships that don't align with your purpose. When God removes someone, it's not always permanent. Sometimes he's creating space for both of you to grow separately before bringing you back together in a healthier way. But you've got to trust his timing and let him do work in you and them. Holding on to the wrong people is like carrying dead weight. It slows you down, drains your energy, and keeps you stuck. God wants you to run your race unburdened, and that means letting go of relationships that no longer serve his purpose for your life. God knows the kind of people you need to fulfill your purpose, people who inspire, uplift, and challenge you. Trust that he's removing the wrong ones to make room for the right ones. Letting go isn't easy, but it's necessary for the journey ahead. Nobody likes pain, but let's be real, it's part of life. Pain is a tool God uses to shape you, refine you, and strengthen you. It's not punishment, it's preparation. When you're going through something painful, it's because he's preparing you for something powerful. Pain has a way of waking you up. It forces you to confront what's not working, what's holding you back, and what needs to change. God doesn't allow pain to destroy you. He allows it to redirect you. That discomfort you feel is him nudging you toward your new path. We often try to avoid pain, but in doing so, we miss the lessons it's trying to teach us. Pain teaches resilience, patience, and humility. It strips away your ego and reminds you that you can't do this life alone. It draws you closer to God and deepens your faith. Think about a diamond. It's just a piece of coal until it's put under pressure. That pressure isn't there to destroy it. It's there to transform it into something priceless. The same is true for you. The pain you're feeling is God's way of turning you into the best version of yourself. Pain also has a way of revealing what's real. It exposes the fake friends, the toxic habits, and the unhealthy situations. It's a purifying fire that burns away everything that doesn't belong in your life. God uses pain to refine you so that you can step into your purpose. One of the hardest things to do is to trust God in the middle of your pain. But family, he's not asking you to understand it. He's asking you to trust him. Trust that he's working all things for your good, even when it hurts. Pain is temporary, but his purpose is eternal. When you come out on the other side of pain, you'll see it differently. You'll realize it wasn't there to break you, it was there to build you. God doesn't waste pain. He uses it to propel you into the new path He's prepared for you. Faith isn't about knowing every step of the journey. It's about trusting God even when you can't see the full picture. When He calls you to a new path, He rarely gives you all the details. That's because faith isn't about certainty, it's about trust. Moving without the full picture can feel scary. You want guarantees, assurances, and a detailed plan. But that's not how God works. If He showed you the whole plan up front, it wouldn't require faith. Faith is stepping out, even when you don't know where the next step will lead. We often want to see the destination before we start the journey. But God doesn't operate on our terms. He gives you enough light for the step you're on. As you take that step, He reveals the next one. It's a process of trusting Him moment by moment. Think about Abraham in the Bible. God told him to leave his home and go to a land He would show him. Abraham didn't have a map or a timeline. He just had faith. And because he trusted God, he became the father of nations. That same God is guiding your steps today. Sometimes the new path God is calling you that doesn't make sense to others. They'll question your decisions, doubt your vision, and criticize your choices. But remember, God didn't give them the vision, He gave it to you. You don't need their approval to follow His plan. Walking by faith requires letting go of control. It's about surrendering your plans, your fears, and your doubts to God. It's saying, I don't have all the answers, but I trust the one who does. That kind of faith moves mountains and opens doors you never thought possible. Faith is a journey, not a destination. It's about taking one step at a time, trusting that God is guiding you even when the path isn't clear. The new path He's leading you to is better than anything you could imagine, but you've got to trust Him to get there. We've all experienced closed doors opportunities that didn't pan out, relationships that ended, or plans that fell apart. When that happens, it's easy to feel defeated. But let me tell you something, a closed door isn't the end. It's often the beginning of something better. God doesn't close doors to punish you. He closes them to protect you. He sees what's behind that door, and if it's not for your good, He won't let you walk through it. You might not understand in the moment, but trust me, every closed door has a purpose. Sometimes we're so focused on what we want that we miss what God has in store for us. We cling to doors that are clearly shut, trying to force them open. But what's behind that door might be less than what you deserve. God closes it because He has something greater waiting. When a door closes, it's normal to feel disappointed. You might question your worth or your reality, but remember this, your value doesn't decrease because a door closes. It's not about rejection, it's about redirection. God is steering you toward the door that leads to your purpose. Closed doors often come with lessons. They teach you patience, resilience, and trust. They force you to rely on God instead of your own understanding. Those lessons prepare you for the open doors ahead, the ones that align with your destiny. The doors God opens for you will be undeniable. There'll be doors no man can shut. Doors that lead to opportunities you never imagined. But you've got to stop staring at the closed door long enough to notice the open one. God can't move you forward if you're stuck in the past. The beauty of God's plan is that every closed door serves a purpose. It's not wasted time, it's preparation. Trust that He's closing the wrong doors to guide you to the right ones. The path He has for you is greater than anything you could plan for yourself. One of the hardest things to accept is that God's timing doesn't match ours. We want everything now, immediately, and on our schedule. But God's timing is always perfect, even when it feels like He's late. He's never late. He's preparing you. Waiting on God can feel frustrating. You see others moving forward, reaching their goals, and living their dreams while you're stuck in the waiting room. But let me tell you, God isn't making you wait to punish you. He's making you wait to prepare you. Preparation is key. If he gave you everything you wanted right now, would you be ready for it? Would you know how to handle it, how to nurture it, or how to protect it? Sometimes the waiting is about building your character and strengthening your faith. Joe D's timing often requires patience, and patience isn't easy. It's in the waiting that you learn to trust him fully. You realize that your plans are small compared to his, and his delay is never denial. He's working behind the scenes, setting things in motion for your good. Think about a seed planted in the ground. It doesn't sprout overnight. It takes time, water, and care to grow. Your dreams and purpose are like that seed. God is watering and nurturing them in the dark, unseen places. Trust that they'll bloom at the right time. We live in a world of instant gratification, but God operates on eternal timing. He's not interested in quick fixes. He's interested in lasting impact. When he moves, it's always at the perfect time, in the perfect way, for the perfect reason. If you're in a season of waiting, don't give up. Don't rush the process. Trust that GOD's timing is aligning you with your purpose. The wait is never wasted when you trust the one who holds time in his hands. Stepping into a new path isn't just about where you're going, it's about who you're becoming. God doesn't just change your circumstances, he changes you. The new path he's calling you to requires growth, transformation, and a new mindset. You can't bring old habits into a new season. The person you were before isn't equipped to handle where God is taking you. That's why he allows challenges and trials to refine you. He's molding you into the person who can walk boldly into your purpose. Growth is uncomfortable. It forces you to confront your fears, let go of your excuses, and step out of your comfort zone. But that discomfort is necessary. It's Joe D's way of stretching you, strengthening you, and preparing you for the next level. Sometimes growth means letting go of the old version of yourself. It means shedding the negative thoughts, the toxic behaviors, and the limiting beliefs that no longer serve you. You can't step into a new path carrying the baggage of your past. God will often isolate you before he elevates you. That season of isolation is not punishment, it's preparation. It's where he works on your heart, your mind, and your spirit. It's where he equips you with the tools you'll need for the journey ahead. The new path requires faith, discipline, and courage. It's not for the faint of heart, but God didn't call you because you were ready. He called you because he's ready to equip you. Trust that he's giving you everything you need to succeed. Transformation is a process. It doesn't happen overnight, but with every step you take, you're becoming the person God created you to be. Embrace the process and trust that the new you is ready for the new path. Nobody said the path God calls you to would be easy. In fact, it's often the hardest path you'll ever walk. But let me tell you, the hardest paths lead to the greatest rewards. GOD's path is worth every struggle, every sacrifice, and every step of faith. Hardships are part of the journey. You'll face obstacles, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But those challenges are not there to stop you, they're there to strengthen you. Each trial is an opportunity to grow, to trust God, and to build your resilience. The enemy will try to discourage you. He'll plant doubts in your mind, make you question your calling, and tempt you to quit. But you've got to stand firm. Remember, if the path wasn't important, the enemy wouldn't be fighting so hard to stop you. Success on GOD's path requires perseverance. It's not about how fast you get there. It's about staying the course. Even when the road gets rough, keep moving. God's strength is made perfect in your weakness, and he will carry you through. The rewards of staying on GOD's path are greater than anything you can imagine. It's not just about material blessings. It's about peace, joy, purpose, and fulfillment. When you walk in obedience, you're walking in alignment with his perfect plan for your life. The path may cost you some things, comfort, relationships, or old ways of thinking. But what you gain is far greater. You gain wisdom, strength, and a deeper connection with God. The sacrifices you make today will pale in comparison to the blessings he has in store. Jody's path leads to a life of meaning and impact. It's not just about you, it's about the people you'll inspire, the lives you'll touch, and the legacy you'll leave. Stay the course, trust the process, and remember that with God, the hard path is always the right path. God doesn't make mistakes. If you feel like you're being called to a new path, trust that calling. Let go of fear. Let go of the old. Step boldly into the future He's preparing for you. The journey won't always be easy, but it will be worth it.